So Joe Budden got COVID. Man. Charlamagne, did you have anything to do? Nah. What up YouTube, Topaz Ace back for another review, and this one is to that King Von. Welcome to Oblock. And before we jump into this album review, first I gotta give you context. First I gotta give you my thought process leading up to this album. But if you feel as though you already know everything there is to know about King Von, then feel free to skip past to this point here. But where do we start? King Von is a Chicago-based rapper that's signed to Little Durk. And when I listen to him, he reminds me a lot of, say, Montana of 300. Except for he's a lot less with the lyrics, but a lot more well-rounded as an artist. Because you know Montana of 300, he's just hitting you with bar after bar after bar after bar. But him and King Von got that similar style of flow and delivery that you see out of a lot of Chirac individuals who try to be spitting. But yet, King Von, he doesn't have that lyricism, but he definitely can create some quality songs if it's based around his strength. And I'm not gonna say King Von is a super limited one-dimensional rapper, because he's not. He has just a few dimensions, but he is still super limited though with the music that he's kicking out. And you can see this in his discography. Like when you go back to his first project, which I felt as though was his best one coming into this joint, which was that Grandson Volume 1, as that was one just focusing heavily on being the drill rapper that he is. Then you got LeVon James, where this is all but somewhat of the same here. There's just a few songs that just felt a little bit different, but ultimately it was a strong second album showing for an individual, but yet it doesn't stand out amongst all of the drill rappers and all the people that's still doing the same exact thing. And that's what's kind of irking me about this entire genre, because I mean, it was hot for a minute. Like the savageness of what drill music was years ago hasn't changed. Everyone is just making more updated renditions of things that has already been done instead of trying to push this craft forward. Love it or hate it, this generation of trap rappers have taken trap music from T.I. and Jeezy and pushed it in a different direction. May not be a better direction, but they're trying to do their own thing. And that's what's really lacking with drill. But this leads us to the Welcome to Oblock album, man. Where I would say the most disappointing thing about it is that it's a 2-minute album. And this 2-minute album thing is becoming like a standard to a degree. Like, this is really something that the less creative, those who's lacking in the skill level, are really just putting forth the least amount of effort possible consistently do. Like, you just making a bunch of songs of 2 minutes. You're only putting one verse and a hook and an intro, outro. That's it on the vast majority of these songs. And that's really saddening, because there are a bunch of songs on here that are actually pretty good. It's just you completely limit the ability to actually be great because you didn't want to put in an effort to complete the songs. Let me give you an example of this with my favorite songs off this project. Take Demon, where that was only 2 minutes. And the same thing goes for that Mine 2, where these songs focusing on the strips of what King Von does best, in delivery, in flow, his energy, and selecting quality beats. If you just put in a dope hook, then you could have a hit. But sadly, he doesn't give these songs a chance. Really, the only other song on this that I kept on my playlist would be that Ride. And this is one of those songs that King Von stands out amongst his peers with, because these are songs that he focused directly towards talking towards women, in which he's giving his raw take on it too. It's not no I'ma suck up to these women are great type songs that you see all the time. It's an individual giving these women the real, which I respect that. And this song had the production and had everything intact. But there are a few other songs that I wanted to talk about here too, like that Armed and Dangerous, which was the intro, where he definitely did set the tone for the project, which I respect that. But it was honestly the tone that I was expecting, and it wasn't that great. Like, I was hoping for something to progress and change up the game and be something great, but instead this is him showing us that I'm going to perfect my drill style. But my question is, exactly how much more distance can you go with this drill style for what it is right now? Another song I want to talk about was that Why He Told, where this was an interesting one, where the story is basically him talking of an individual that he had love for that got caught doing something, and he ended up snitching on everybody. And he's questioning, like, why would you do that? You could have just did the time. And I feel King Von on this one, man, because just real talk, if you can't do the time, then don't run with the individuals that's doing the crimes. It's never a good look, you dig? From this point, there's no positive that's ever going to happen for you anywhere. You dig? Especially when people start to get your record, and especially if you still have to do some time and such, dude. If you ain't built for the lifestyle, man, then it's best to just get a job. There's nothing wrong with being a normal individual. Don't get caught up in the hype, because this is how it usually ends. And lastly, I wanted to talk about Can't Relate, because this is, again, like the constant substance that he has throughout his projects, where it's what I dub to be trap talk, where an individual is not rapping about punchlines or anything like that. You're more rapping about the experiences that you've had while being in the streets, as what these individuals do. They rap about drill and shooting people and all of that stuff all too often. And let's not deny that it works, you dig? People tend to tune in for it, and a lot of people who don't know music all that well will say that this individual is really spitting when he's actually not. But when your fan base is doing the things that you are rapping about, people put more emphasis on it, and that's exactly what happens here. But we're going to analyze these lyrics a little bit harder as we go ahead and delve into the bars. So King Von has a very smooth delivery and flow. Like, that's honestly like the best thing about him. He's not very potent when it comes to lyricism, but honestly, that's not one thing that these individuals actually want from him. As you can tell through the vast majority of Chirac individuals, what they want is that darker style, the content of it being real, true life crime on the streets. And that's why I say his whole style reminds me of Malibu Black. Not the most potent of liquors, but it is a darker one that's pretty smooth. But let's go ahead and look at some of these individual bars here, man. Keep the rocket like Otto. Many people may not know who Otto is, but that's a character off the cartoon Rocket Power. That was okay of a bar. And then I'm gonna come through like it's the drive-through. Well, that was slick. I mean, it's self-explanatory and it's simplistic, but yeah, that's one of the better ones that he delivered on this project. How he said, I'ma keep my distance like COVID. Well, that was somewhat of a double entendre, with keeping your distance from people, he said, as far as I'm not dealing with people in my family and people who was once close to me. I'm keeping my distance, just like how everybody should be social distancing with COVID-19 right now. Honestly, not amazing bars right here, man. And to be real, this project wasn't amazing as well. Like, I mean, if you are a drill fan, you probably already hate me for saying this, and you probably already love it, because, I mean, it works for that individual. But it doesn't work for the genre as a whole, where you need to create something great that's going to push the craft forward. We're not getting that. You're getting more of the same here. And that's why I'm giving this project a 5 out of 10. Still worth a listen. Go ahead and get like 3 of them songs off this joint, man, but that's really about it.